Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We humbly and submissively turn to God and ask for His guidance and help, because He is the All-Perfect One, He is the All-Merciful One, and one whose special grace and blessings are abundantly available to only those who believe in Him and who respond to His call and submit to His will. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Muhammad wa alihi at-tahirin. We send our salutations and greetings on the Holy Prophet and on his holy progeny, who are the best guides for mankind till the end of time. Elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. We were discussing Surah Waqiah, chapter 56. It has 96 verses. We have reached somewhere around the middle, and it's a surah that has been revealed in the pre-migration period in Mecca. And if you recall, there is a lot of merit to recite this surah frequently and regularly. The riwayah says that whosoever aspires for paradise should frequently recite this surah. Man ishtaqa ila al-jannah wa sifatiha. Whosoever wants to remind himself about the description of Jannah, فَلْيَقْرَأِ الْوَاقِعَةِ. Or another riwayah says, if you want to protect yourself from poverty, whosoever recites this surah, لَمْ تُصِبْهُ فَقْرٌ وَلَا فَاقَةٌ. Or a third riwayah says that if you want to gain popularity, you recite this surah, because whoever recites this surah, Ahabbahullah. If you recite the surah on the eve of Friday, Thursday night, Allah will love him extra. Allah loves everyone, but some more than others. Those who recite this enable themselves to deserve to receive more grace and attention from Allah. Something is happening or should happen to the reciter when he reads this surah. Ahabbahullah wa habbabahu ila nas, and makes it more popular with people. A fourth riwayah says that whoever recites this surah, laqiyallah wa wajhuhu kal-qamar, he shall meet his Lord in such a way that his face will be bright like the full moon, kal-badr. So there is benefit in the recitation of this surah. And as we go through the themes, we'll be in a better position to appreciate why, what should be happening to us in our thinking, in our feelings, and therefore in our behavior, which should then qualify us to receive more grace. 96 verses could be broken up into 6 sections. Section number 1, ayah number 1 to 6, is an introduction. إِذَا وَقَعَتِ الْوَاقِعَةِ. And when that great event and those big changes shall take place, there is no better description than the event. لَيْسَ لِوَقَعَتِهَا كَاذِبَةٌ. The event is so powerful and so pervasive that it is undeniable. The proof is very conclusive and therefore is undeniable. And once it happens, it will be so overwhelming, it will touch each and every one. Nobody can therefore afford to be ignorant or to deny it, because it will smack everyone on his face and overwhelm him. خَافِضَةٌ رَافِعَةٌ. One of the first effects that shall happen after the event occurs is that the whole social system will be turned upside down. Those who are low will be raised, and those who are high in the social ranks will be lowered. The true measures and values to evaluate the status of a person shall be displayed. إِذَا رُجَّتِ الْأَرْضُ رَجًّا وَبُسَّتِ الْجِبَالُ بَسًّا فَكَانَتْ هَبَاءً مُنْبَثًّا. There will be cataclysmic global changes, but 2 specific changes have been mentioned here. One is the mountains and 2 is the earth. The earth will be violently shaken, and the mountains shall crush and crumble and turn into dust. What appears to be solid shall suddenly disappear. Section 2 is ayah number 7 to 10. Once these physical changes occur, naturally they will affect man also. And humanity will then be divided into 3 groups. وَكُنْتُمْ أَزْوَاجًا ثَلَاثًا. You shall be divided into 3 groups. فأصحاب اليمين ما أصحاب اليمين وأصحاب الميمنة ما أصحاب الميمنة وأصحاب المشأمة ما أصحاب المشأمة. There'll be the right hand people, there'll be the left hand people. And these people's ranks are so high, the right hand people. And the left hand people, their punishment is so severe. What is it that can make you appreciate the severity of these two groups? وَالسَّابِقُونَ, and there'll be those who are foremost. السَّابِقُونَ, surely those who are foremost in their actions will be foremost in the reward. أُولَٰئِكَ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ. Do you know why? Because they're the ones who are the closest to God. If God is all perfect, they've achieved perfection to get proximity to the all perfect one. And then the third section is the reward for each of these three groups. We've discussed the reward for as-sabiqun, ayah number 11 to 26, and then the reward for the ashabul yamin or ashabul maymana from ayah number 27 to ayah 40. We shall now focus on the punishment that is there for the wicked, evil, misguided ones, which is from ayah 41 to 56. A quick review of those first two sections. Yes. So the reward for those who are the foremost, the muqarrabun, they shall be seated on high thrones. على سرر موضونة متكئين عليها متقابلين يطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون بأكواب وأباريق وكأس من معين لا يصدعون عنها ولا ينزفون. Spirits. لهم فيها فاكهة مما يتخيرون ولحم طير مما يشتهون وحور عين. Number 6, and finally, لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا تأثيما إلا قيلا سلاما سلاما. This is the 7 rewards, physical plus spiritual. أصحاب اليمين or أصحاب الميمنة في سدر مخضود وطلح منضود وظل ممدود وماء مسكوب وفاكهة كثيرة لا مقطوعة ولا ممنوعة وفرش مرفوعة إن أنشأناهن إنشاء فجعلناهن أبكار عربا أترابا. So we discussed these two sets of reward. Now we go to the third group. The next slide, please. Yes. وَأَصْحَابُ الشِّمَالِ مَا أَصْحَابُ الشِّمَالِ. And now the focus will be on this third group, the people of the left hand. Hey, but we haven't heard of this terminology, the left hand. What do you mean by the left hand? Well, left hand, left is taken as contrast to the right. If the right represents the strength, the left represents the weakness. If right represents good, therefore contrast, left represents evil. If right represents barakah, left represents misfortune. Those who are evil will suffer misfortune and affliction and punishment. Those who are evil, the misfortune shall show itself in the disrespect and humiliation with which they shall be pulled by their left and dragged and pushed into the fire of hell. These could be some of the reasons why this category is labeled as the people of the left. Ashabu shimal. Okay, so now I've understood what shimal could mean. Ma ashabu shimal. No, that's not enough. This is just a superficial understanding. You cannot appreciate the full severity of the humiliation and the punishment that they shall suffer. Ma ashabu shimal. Next slide, please. في سموم وحميم وظل من يحموم لا بارد ولا كريم. 3 punishments are mentioned for this group. Number 1 is there shall be inside fi hamum. Hamum is derived from the word hamma. Hamma means something which is hot. Hammam, when you take a hot shower, the Arab calls that hammam. Fever, humma. Hamim is water. Here is, that will be boiling water. Fi samum, first is samum. The infernal, the burning Miasma meaning a hot, burning, blazing breeze. Something that can penetrate the masam. Masam are the pores, the skin pores. You know, if you have been exposed to desert climate, both in times of cold and in times of heat, sometimes you sense the heat is not superficial, it's going right through inside. You feel the heat from inside. Or the cold, you express the intensity by saying even my bones are shaking. Somehow the intensity is pictured as penetrating the very pores of the skin. That's why it's called samum. Sumu, it is poisonous, it's dangerous, it's hazardous, it's painful, it's penetrating. Samumin. And the ayah doesn't say as-samum, it says samumin. Whenever there's a tanween, it indicates something which is quite great, something which is therefore unimaginable. So the idea again is this: the world there is different from the world here, one. Two, the intensity of the pain or the reward there is different from the way it's here. Two. Three, because we haven't been there, it's difficult for us to appreciate from here what is the intensity. So how does the Quran try to explain to the mind? It says, well, you Arabs have lived your lives in the desert. Which is the worst scenario you have imagined for yourself of discomfort and pain? You remember that hot wind that blows in summer? You felt it penetrating your pores? Well, something like that. No. Something greater, much greater, something which is beyond your imagination will be the samum that you shall be made to experience. Fi samumin wa hamim. Hamma, something which is boiling. You shall be made to suffer in extremely hot water. Wa dhillin min yahmum, and you shall have a dark smoke cloud, again, which is burning, which will cover you. Notice the three levels of punishment. First, you want to inflict pain. So the whole surrounding is made uncomfortable to an extent, to an extremity where it becomes extremely unbearable. One. So you become very thirsty because you are losing water and you want to now salvage and comfort yourself. You go for water, but the water that will be given will be boiling water. Alright, I cannot cool myself with this water. Let me take a shade. Even the shade which is normally there to protect you from outside heat will fail to do that. In fact, the shade will be burning and blazing. وَظِلٍّ بَتْ مِنْ يَحْمُومٍ La baridin, it shall not serve the purpose of cooling and comforting you. Wala kareem. Wala kareem is again a metaphor the Arabs use when they want to say something is useless. Wala karama. Wala kareem, useless. It will not help you anything. Whatever you can imagine. You have been through situations where when you start suffering pain, you go to one method of helping yourself, water. That water is not going to help you. You're going to look for a shade, the shade is not going to help you. These are two examples. Take any other example you can imagine of trying to bring yourself comfort to escape from the punishment of that day. La karama, la kareem. It is not going to work. The severity is now being impressed upon the mind. True, it is addressing the Arab mind at that time, but that's because that was the first audience. It applies at all times. You can imagine any other situation today where a pain-inflicting environment can be imagined. Or you say, well, human minds can be taught to control pain. An athlete, for example, the trick for an athlete in a competition is to be able to, once he reaches a point where he has crossed the optimum level of exertion, definitely now the muscles and the tissues collect all the metabolic products which then cause pain. But if he can train his mind psychologically to overcome the sensation of pain, he has the extra advantage over his rival. So mind can be trained to control pain. Pain normally is experienced, let's say the skin has pain sensation receptors. One way is, for example, you just start caressing your skin. Somehow the dilution of different sensations reduces the sensation of pain. Or, if not the sensation, the transmission can be blocked of pain from the skin to the spinal cord to the brain. It's the brain that senses the pain. So if you can somehow stop that transmission, aspirin works that way. Prostaglandins here, those drugs which block the prostaglandins, they work at this level. But aspirin works somewhere in between. Oh, you work here. You didn't stop it in between the transmission. You didn't stop the trigger, 1. You didn't stop the transmission, 2. You stop the sensation up here. After all, the pain is sensed at the middle or lower brain. The top brain, the part which is in the humans and not in other lower level animals, the cognitive part, the thinking part. You can imagine a scenario which can override, though the body is feeling pain, but in a sense of excitement, of relaxation, of diversion, distraction. They'll tell you, imagine you are in a beach, relaxing, there's a cool breeze blowing, and just by pure thinking, you can temporarily block the sensation of. These are different tricks. The point I'm trying to make is true, the Arab mind was told that the pain you will suffer is from the hot breeze, 1. You go for water, water will be boiling, 2. You look for a shade, that shade will not provide. The principle is, even today, whatever mind you have, there will be no possibility to control different distracting mechanisms that you can imagine. Next slide, please. Well, why? Why should they be made to suffer so much? What went wrong? What wrong did they do? إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا قَبْلَ ذَلِكَ مُتْرَفِينَ. The problem with them is they were excessively into luxury. To have comforts of life is not bad. كُلُوا مِنْ طَيِّبَاتِ مَا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا. We have created good for you. So many good things we have created for you. Good food, good partners, good homes, anything which is good in the dunya. There's nothing wrong in using the ni'mah of God. It's A, when you become excessive in the use. B, when you ignore that there is a benefactor. C, when you become abusive in those gifts. That's when it becomes haram. D, when you forget that there is an accounting to take place. E, when you forget that there are others who need it and may have to share with them. That is when it becomes haram. Mutrafin are those who are immersed excessively in the pleasures of the world that they forgot everything else. إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا قَبْلَ ذَلِكَ مُتْرَفِينَ. Number 1. Number 2, وَكَانُوا يُصِرُّونَ عَلَى الْحِنْثِ الْعَظِيمِ. And they used to commit sins, but not ordinary sins, big sins. Not once, oh, I'm sorry, that was bad, I need to make istighfar. He's not worried. He just goes on, persistent. It becomes a lifestyle. كَانُوا, constantly, يُصِرُّونَ, persistently, عَلَى الْحِنْثِ, on a sin, عظيم, which was a big sin. Ashabul Yamin, in contrast, do sin. Muqarrabun, Sabiqun, don't sin. Ashabul Yamin do sin, but not persistently, not constantly, not big ones. That's the difference. And Mutrafin, according to some Mufassirin, they say it's not a question only of being affluent. That's one translation. That means wealth intoxicates. It says anything else can intoxicate. Some people are obsessed by youth, some people by their youthfulness. Some people are obsessed by their body and their beauty. Some people are obsessed by their health. They engage and they devote so much of their time that it stops them from doing some other priorities which are necessary. Or no, they reach a point where it becomes even haram. That is what is wrong. Mutrafin, elsewhere in the Quran, have been also mentioned to be those people who reject prophets. So for example, one example is Surah 34, which is Surah Saba. Ayah number 34. Allah says, there is not a prophet that we have sent to any community, but that there's one group of people constantly who reject. And these are the mutrafin. To have wealth, to possess worldly things is not wrong. What is wrong is when it reaches a point when you start doubting the truth. No, you start denying the truth. That is a danger. Observe. Ayah number 34. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا فِي قَرْيَةٍ مِّن نَذِيرٍ. There is not a community to whom we have sent a prophet as a warner. Baba, life is not only this dunya. There is a creator. The creator has a purpose. There is another life. Beware, you can't continue in your sinful lifestyle. Warning. There's not a community, but that a warner came to them. إِلَّا قَالَ مُتْرَفُوهَا إِنَّا بِمَا أُرْسِلْتُمْ بِهِ كَافِرُونَ. We don't accept all these fables and fairy tales and stories you're telling us about Zaqum and Al-Dari' and Ghislin and Ghassaq. These are all stories you've created. وَقَالُوا نَحْنُ أَكْثَرُ أَمْوَالًا وَأَوْلَادًا وَمَا نَحْنُ بِمُعَذَّبِينَ. What are you threatening us? Look at the power that we enjoy right now. Look at the numbers of people working for us. Look at the possessions we have. We can do anything we want. You think we will be punished? Who has the power to punish us? The pride and the arrogance leads them to doubt and to deny, or to forget their own reality. And then the next ayah answers their objection. In Surah Zukhruf chapter 43 also there is the discussion of mutrafin, and also in Surah Mu'minun. But generally the idea is the same. The mutrafin reach a point where they begin to doubt and they begin to deny. So maybe if I can give another example. Chapter 23 is Surah Mu'minun. Ayah number 32. Observe. After Prophet Nuh, to the next community we sent another prophet. ثُمَّ أَنْشَأْنَا مِنْ بَعْدِهِمْ قَرْنًا آخَرِينَ. After we destroyed the people of the Qawm of Nuh, then another generation came and took their place. After a period of time, they needed a new messenger. So we sent فَأَرْسَلْنَا فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِنْهُمْ, somebody from themselves, not a stranger, not an alien. أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مَا لَكُمْ مِنْ إِلَهٍ غَيْرُهُ. And the message was constant of all the messengers, right from the beginning till the end. Worship God and God alone. Devote your energies, your worship, your praise, your fear, your hope, your love, your admiration, your adoration to one entity, and that is Allah, nothing else. Everything else should be subservient to Him. That is the common message. أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مَا مِنْ إِلَهٍ غَيْرُهُ أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. Look at the response. وَقَالَ الْمَلَأُ مِنْ قَوْمِهِ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَكَذَّبُوا بِلِقَاءِ الْآخِرَةِ. But there was a group in that community who received the truth, 1, understood it, 2, but refused to accept, 3. And as a result, 4, they also denied life after death. You know why this was happening? Because أَتْرَفْنَاهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Because we'd given them ni'mah, they made efforts, we blessed them. We, out of our grace, we gave them extra. They fell into the trap. They were intoxicated by the gifts that we gave them. The result was they denied God. The result was they denied Akhirah. The result was, number 3, they started denying the messenger. قالوا, they said, مَا هَذَا إِلَّا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ. What is he trying to tell you? He's claiming he's a man different from other men. He's claiming he's receiving communication from some ghaib. That's not true. يَأْكُلُ مِمَّا تَأْكُلُونَ مِنْهُ يَشْرَبُ مِمَّا تَشْرَبُونَ. Look at him. He's ordinary just like you. He eats like you. He drinks like you. So what's so special about him? That's the skeptic's argument. لَإِنْ أَطَعْتُمْ بَشَرًا مِثْلَكُمْ إِنَّكُمْ إِذًا لَخَاسِرُونَ. Listen, we are intelligent. God has given us a brain. We can figure out. We don't need these people to tell us. And they're just ordinary like you. And listen, let me tell you, it is backwardness. It is stupidity. to follow someone just like you. He's just manipulating and using you. أَيَعِدُكُمْ أَنَّكُمْ إِذَا مِتُّمْ وَكُنْتُمْ تُرَابًا وَعِظَامًا أَنَّكُمْ مُخْرَجُونَ. He seems to threaten you and to promise you, if you die, once your bones desiccate and disappear and you become dust, you shall be raised back to life. Hayhata hayhata lima tu'adun. Never, never, this will never happen. The point is this: mutrafun, by their excessive intoxication of their possessions, they begin to doubt everything. Allah, the Akhirah, and the Prophet. So this ayah here says the reason they are going to be punished is because of their denial. And because of their denial, they become disobedient. Next slide, please. And again, this has been mentioned in other surahs. In this Surah Waqiah, it is mentioned in like this: وَكَانُوا يَقُولُونَ. And this is what they used to say, not once, twice. I have a question, I am looking for an answer. No, that was not their attitude. They constantly say this. This was their thinking pattern. This was their established belief. وَكَانُوا يَقُولُونَ أَإِذَا مِتْنَا. What are you trying to tell us? Once we die, وَكُنَّا تُرَابًا وَعِظَامًا. And once we die and we become dust and our bones are then dried, أَإِنَّا لَمَبْعُوثُونَ. We shall be brought back to life. This is what you're telling us? Nah, we've never seen this. And it's the way we understand things, this is impossible. Haywezekani. And alright, if it is true, our aba'una al-awwalun, and our forefathers also undergo, how come we never saw anything? Why do they reject the day of judgment? Because the previous ayah says they were constant and persistent in their sins, the great sins. So now, if you can summarize the three punishments are the hot, blazing, burning, painful wind and breeze shall hurt them. They shall try to cool themselves by water, which will be boiling. They shall look for walls that can protect themselves from the outside heat. In fact, the same walls will become shades which are themselves blazing and burning. This will be the three punishment. But for what? For those three acts that they have performed. Act number one, they constantly say, they don't believe. This is their disbelief. And disbelief is followed by disobedience. They're sinful of great sins, constant and persistent. And the whole reason being, they have been immersed into the sensual, physical pleasures of the dunya. And this is the probable flow that once you get ni'mah, and once you forget who is the provider, and once you forget why it was provided for, and once you don't discipline yourself how to use that ni'mah, you fall into the luxury and you become sensualized. And then therefore gradually become sinful. And once you become sinful, you start doubting, and then you start denying. Next slide, please. Qul, O Prophet, reply to them, answer them, explain to them the reality. Qul innal awwalina وَالْآخِرِينَ لَمَجْمُوعُونَ إِلَى يَوْمٍ مَعْلُومٍ إِلَى مِيقَاتِ يَوْمٍ مَعْلُومٍ. Say, all the first people and the last people, everyone, in other words, from the beginning till the end, shall definitely be assembled when for miqat. Miqat is derived from the word waqt. Waqt is something which is fixed and appointed. It can be time which is fixed, it can be a place which is fixed. When we go for Hajj, the miqat is that which has been fixed to be the point at which you enter into ihram. Before that, you're not allowed to be in ihram. After that, you cannot go without ihram. That's the fixed place, miqat. Miqat can also be not a fixed place, but a fixed time. There has been a fixed time for the assembly of everyone from the beginning till the end. Notice in Surah Yasin, the same thing is mentioned, but in different ways. وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ فَإِذَا هُمْ مِنَ الْأَجْدَاثِ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ يَنْسِلُونَ قَالُوا يَا وَيْلَنَا مَنْ بَعَثَنَا مِنْ مَرْقَدِنَا هَذَا مَا وَعَدَ الرَّحْمَنُ وَصَدَقَ الْمُرْسَلُونَ Ayah 53 then says, إِن كَانَتْ إِلَّا صَيْحَةً وَاحِدَةً. In the nafkh as-sur, in the blowing of the trumpet, it was only a single blow. إِن كَانَتْ إِلَّا صَيْحَةً واحدة فإذا هم جميع, all of them, لدينا محضرون. Immediately they shall be summoned to our presence, all of them. ميقات يوم معلوم. It's not that every community lived at a different time in history and therefore shall be resurrected separately from others. They will all come together at the same time before their Lord. ميقاتي, and the same is repeated in different verses. For example, يوم ينفخ في الصور فتأتون أفواجا, Surah Naba, chapter 78, ayah number 18. In Surah Kahf, chapter 18, ayah number 99, again, when the call shall be given, because everyone is obedient to the caller, because every particle of their existence is totally under the control of the caller, the moment the caller blowing of the trumpet may be a metaphorical way of saying everyone should come to die, and another blow of the trumpet, everyone should come back to life. It's a metaphorical way. Again, how do you explain to the Arab mind, it's going to be just one command, everything is going to stop? Well, you've seen these caravans traveling, haven't you? And you see how all the animals in the caravan, the camels, are under the control of that leader. The moment he blows, all the camels obey and stop. The moment he blows again, the camels move. That's the best way we can explain to you how a single command can be given and the totality of every entity under that control either stops or starts. Nafkh as-sur is of two types. Surah Kahf, chapter 18, ayah number 99. Allah says, وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ فَجَمَعْنَاهُمْ جَمْعًا. And when the trumpet shall be blown, all of them shall be assembled in that final, total, comprehensive assembly. In Surah Naml, chapter 27, ayah number 87, again, the blowing of the trumpet is described and the end result of that. وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ فَصَعِقَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَيَوْمَ يُنْفَخُ فِي الصُّورِ فَفَزِعَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا مَنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ وَكُلٌّ أَتَوْهُ دَاخِرِينَ. And when the trumpet shall be blown, everyone shall swoon instantly. They'll be overwhelmed. What is this call? A. How shall it be pronounced? 2. How shall it be delivered? 3. How shall it be received? 4. What will be the effect? We don't know the details, but we know this much. A call will be made, and the instantaneous result is everyone is going to swoon. وَكُلٌّ أَتَوْهُ دَاخِرِينَ. Everyone, without exception, shall come before him دَاخِر, dhalil, humble, totally overpowered. So this miqat, where everyone shall have to assemble, is definite. And it is on a known day. When is it going to occur? We don't know. Not only we don't know, the Prophet also doesn't know. And this is deliberate. It's in the hikmah and the maslahah not to reveal the date of the meeting. So if you know there's going to be a sudden inspection, a sudden summoning, you'll be constantly ready. But if you're told beforehand, it's going to occur in so and so year, well, I have enough time. After all, I've been told even if I repent in the last hour, I'll be forgiven. But this can come any time, and therefore the time of the arrival shall not be disclosed. But they constantly came to the Prophet, tell us, when is it going to happen? In Surah A'raf, chapter 7, ayah number 187, the mushrikeen or the others who wanted to create doubts, they went to ask people of the book, tell us what questions we should ask to challenge this man and to dumbfound him. So they said, why don't you ask him about the Day of Judgment? When is it going to happen? So the ayah says, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ السَّاعَةِ أَيَّانَ مُرْسَاهَا. They're asking about the hour of the rising. When shall it occur? Mursaha, a ship that travels and wants to stop, it drops an anchor and stabilizes itself. Mursaha, this whole ship of the universe that is moving constantly. When is it going to stop? Ayyana mursaha. When is it going to reach the shore? And that'll be the end of the world. Tell us. Qul, O Prophet, tell them, إِنَّمَا عِلْمُهَا عِنْدَ رَبِّي. Even I don't know. God alone knows when it's going to happen. لَا يُجَلِّيهَا لِوَقْتِهَا إِلَّا هُ. And nobody other than Him shall then disclose and display the accurate timing of it. Even me, I don't know. ثَقُلَتْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. But what you should know is not the timing. What you should know is the terrible tragedy that will occur at that time. It is so enormous, it is so massive that even the heavens and the earth can't carry the weight of that event. They'll collapse. ثَقُلَتْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. What more can we tell you? That's how heavy it is. You think you have the power to go unprepared? قل إنما لا تأتيكم إلا بغتة. It shall come, but it shall come suddenly, unexpected, least expected. You shall be immersed in your daily lives. If you haven't kept yourself constantly aware, it will strike you suddenly. Imam Ali alayhi salam, there's a khutbah in Nahj al-Balagha where Sayyid Radhi Sharif says that this khutbah, Imam alayhi salam, this message he used to recite every night after Salatul Isha. He would wake up in Masjid al-Kufa and address the believers. And the message was, we don't know when we are going to leave this dunya. We're going to sleep, but we better be prepared. The path ahead is a dangerous path. The inspiration is ayahs like this. It can happen suddenly. No. It'll happen in an unexpected way. No. It'll happen in the least expected time. When you are so immersed and engrossed, wow, this is an exciting work and project. I need to devote all my energies. And I sleep late, and I wake up late for salah, and I'm tired, and I don't want to do my du'as, and sometimes I delay my salah, and sometimes I don't even pray. And God knows, before the next salah you're gone. قُلْ إِنَّمَا عِلْمُهَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. O Prophet, repeat to them again. Nobody knows. I don't know. Nobody other than Allah knows. But the problem is the majority of the people don't realize this. So true. مِيقَاتِ يَوْمٍ ma'loom for Allah, but majhul and unknown for the rest of mankind. Next slide, please. ثُمَّ إِنَّكُمْ أَيُّهَا الضَّالُّونَ الْمُكَذِّبُونَ. And then you people, you those who are astray and deviated from the straight path, and you who are not only deviated, but you are the deniers who denied this day. لَآكِلُونَ مِنْ شَجَرٍ مِنْ زَقُّومٍ. Surely you shall be made to eat from the tree of Zaqqum. Notice this address. The whole assembly of mankind from the beginning till the end. You, the deniers. You, the deviated ones. The humiliation of exposure in front of the whole mankind. Denied, the message was clear. We're not humiliating you for the wrong reasons. You deserve to be humiliated because you humiliated the truth. The truth was delivered to you. You understood it. The message was clear. You chose to follow your desires and therefore to deny the truth. You, the deniers, now you shall be given the reward of what you have done. First thing, you shall be made to eat from the tree of Zaqqum. Zaqqum, again, this is a method of educating and impressing upon the Arab mind what will be some food which shall be painful. Zaqqum was a thorny tree, bitter in taste, pungent in smell. So how do we describe a food that is repugnant to eat? Take the example of Zaqqum. In other verses in the Quran, again, Zaqqum has been described. For example, in Surah Dukhan, chapter 44, Zaqqum again has been described in other terms. the fact that not only is it bitter, and not only is it pungent, and not only is it thorny and painful, it's also boiling. Amazing food. Chapter 44, ayah number 43. Inna shajarat az-zaqqum ta'amul athim. It will be the food of the sinner, not any ordinary sinner, not a sinner who's just done a sin once and then he repents, or sinned 2-3 times and then he repents. A constant, regular, established sinner. Athim, not athim. كَالْمُهْلِ يَغْلِي فِي الْبُطُونِ. This zaqqum, how do we describe to you? It's not this tree that you see in the desert. This tree is thorny, yes. It's bitter to taste, yes. It's pungent in smell, yes. But that zaqqum, once you eat it, it's going to boil in your entrails, in your bowels it's going to boil. How do we describe the intensity of the boiling? Have you seen metal? Have you seen metal melting? Like boiling, melting metal, it's going to burn in your insides, in your entrails. That is what zaqqum is. كَغَلْيِ الْحَمِيمِ. Oh no, it's not a occasional boiling. It's the boiling of boiling water. كَغَلْيِ غَلْ 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 كَغَلْيِ الْحَمِيمِ. That of boiling water. خُذُوهُ فَعَتِلُوهُ إِلَى سَوَاءِ الْجَحِيمِ. Seize him forcefully against his will, humiliatingly drag him, plunge him and push him right to the center and the core of the fire of hell. So that will be the first step, zaqqum, and then the next step will be to the center of the fire. It's interesting, therefore, when these people are going to be addressed, ضالون مكذبون, every day in salah we say that غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. We don't want to reach this point where we know what's the path and deliberately we avoid. We know what's the path, we behave as if we doubt that there is a God or a message or a life hereafter. Next slide, please. فَمَالِئُونَ مِنْهَا الْبُطُونَ. You shall eat the zaqqum, and you won't take a little taste of it. I just want to sip. I just want to take one small morsel and taste it. You're going to eat and eat and eat and eat, and you'll fill your bellies with it. فَشَارِبُونَ عَلَيْهِ مِنَ الْحَمِيمِ. And then you shall drink water on top of it, on top of that zaqqum, which itself is boiling. And you shall drink water which is boiling. And are you going to just take a sip from the boiling water? No. You shall drink again to the fill. How do I explain to you drinking, over drinking, excessive drinking? Well, you've seen these camels, haven't you? There's some camels who are sick. Camels, normally you bring them to a water pond. They're going to drink and drink and drink as conservation, which they shall use on a long journey. But there's some camels who are so sick, and that's a known disease, they overdrink till they die. How to best describe to you the overdrinking? You can't control the camel. Even if you take him away, he's going to come back. فَشَارِبُونَ عَلَيْهِ مِنَ الْحَمِيمِ فَشَارِبُونَ شُرْبَ الْهِيمِ. They shall drink the drink of that excessively thirsty camel. Look at 4 things that are happening. Food and drink. The worst food will be eaten, not a small morsel to the fill. Oh my God, I'm burning, give me something to drink. Boiling water, a sip, oh, I can't drink this. No, they're going to drink it excessively to the fill. Amazing. It seems what is going to be given in the akhirah to these people is a direct result of what they have done in the dunya. الْيَوْمَ تُجْزَوْنَ مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. Today you shall be rewarded for what you have done. So if they're going to eat, that's because they're hungry. And if they're going to overeat, that's because they are extremely hungry. They need that nourishment. And if they're going to drink, that's because they're thirsty. And if they're going to overdrink, that's because they're extremely thirsty. Lakini, why are they forced to drink and eat some of these terrible, painful, burning food and drink? Because sababu, that food and drink is now a manifestation or an extension or a projection of something that did this in this dunya. Don't listen to haram music. Don't engage in adulterous relationships. Don't gamble. Don't use haram food. Don't do this haram. Don't do that haram. They've been told that. Every act has a consequence in this dunya and also in the akhirah. If the individual here did that, not once, not twice, as if he was excessively desiring it once and twice and three times, till he satisfied himself to the full, he couldn't take any more in the dunya, that same behavior shall then appear in the akhirah in that form. The only difference is, in the dunya, when he took that drug, for example, he felt temporary pleasure, but what he was doing actually was that inner pure soul and the pure body that God had given him. He was hurting it, but he didn't know, he ignored it. He was hurting himself. That pure soul, that pure body, that is the one that is going to be hurt in the akhirah. If I give an example, a person who suffers some condition whereby, let's say he's got leprosy. A leper, because he doesn't have sensation on his feet, he may walk on a thorn, the thorn will jab him, he'll get pricked but he won't feel it because he has lost sensation. But the body is damaged, the body is bleeding, like he doesn't know. Or a diabetic, for example. Similarly here, this individual somehow has desensitized his nafs, his aql. Though the conscious is telling him, don't do it, it's wrong, he suppresses it and he goes ahead and does it. What actually he's doing is he's hurting himself, but his sensation is dimmed and diluted. There, the sensation shall be given to him in full, and therefore that act shall appear as zaqum, as hamim, as ghislin, as ghassaq, as dari'. These are different names that appear in the Quran for the different types of food and drink. Next slide, please. هَذَا نُزُلُهُمْ يَوْمَ الدِّينِ. Why should it not be like this? This yawm is yawm ad-din. It's a day of retribution. الْيَوْمَ لَا تُظْلَمُ نَفْسٌ شَيْئًا. Today is a day when nobody shall suffer dhulm. They shall be given exactly what they have done. No more, no more. Reward, yes, definitely be double, triple, multiple, endless. But punishment, no. It will be accurate to what they deserve. In the Quran, Surah Naba, for example, Allah says that when the punishment is given, it will be jaza'an wifaqa. It will be exactly according to the measure of the sin that they have done. Inna jahannama kanat mirsada. Definitely Jahannam is lying in wait for them, over which they must cross. لِلطَّاغِينَ مَآبًا. It is the final eternal abode for those who are excessive sinners and transgressors. لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا. They shall be made to remain and suffer therein for long periods of time. لَا يَذُوقُونَ فِيهَا بَرْدًا وَلَا شَرَابًا. They shall not be able to taste any coolness or any drink to relieve that pain. إِلَّا حَمِيمًا وَغَسَّاقًا. Oh yes, when they feel thirsty, they shall be given boiling water to drink. Why? Jaza'an wifaqa. This is a jaza which is accurate, exact, precise to the measure and the degree of the sin that they committed. No more. Al-yawma la tuzlamu nafsun shay'a. This is exactly what they deserve. I've given an example. A person who engages in a behavior, sinful, harmful, dangerous, self-damaging, self-destructive behavior, drugs, or alcohol, or smoking. The individual enjoys it during that time, but what he doesn't know, unnoticeably, gradually, the pain is being inflicted. It's only when, obviously, when the damage is done to an extent which is no longer can be contained, that he feels. Same thing will happen in the akhirah. Amazing. The Quran says all this is just welcoming you. Zaqum is just a welcome. The actual punishment is which appears in Surah Dukhan. خُذُوهُ فَاعْتِلُوهُ إِلَى سَوَاءِ الْجَحِيمِ. Seize him and push him and drag him and plunge him to the core of Jahannam. Let's pray to Allah to get the tawfiq to be able to realize and remind ourselves constantly on a nightly basis, or at least on a weekly basis, or at least on a monthly basis, what is the reality that awaits us, which is inevitable. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Reza Catering, with over 40 years of experience, is your one-stop shop for all your catering equipment needs. With a showroom of 10,000 square feet, we are the biggest stockist in the UK with same-day delivery services. We guarantee to beat any genuine quotation and also have in-house engineers. Our multi-language and friendly staff are at your service on 0208 848 7775.
What if you could call anywhere in the world from less than 1p per minute? Don't just take our word for it, we'll give you 100 free minutes so you can try our service risk-free. Call family, friends, even your business contacts from your mobile phone to benefit from call rates to India for 1p per minute, Pakistan 4p, Bangladesh 1.3p per minute, and Spain for half a pence. Cheaper calls can give you much lower rates than calling cards, and our service is much easier to use with no annoying PIN numbers. Try us for free now at cheapercalls.com.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة
Allah says, come to me. You have had a rough year. Leave it all. Run to me. Come to me. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Hadith Qudsi says that for that one of my servants who I have not left in need, that means I have given him wealth, if once in 3 years he does not come to meet me at my house, then he has committed injustice to me. فَظَلَمَنِي.
Ahlul Bayt TV, the holy household for every household.
روي في كتاب عوالم العلوم بسند صحيح عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري عن فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قال: سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت: دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال: السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت: عليك السلام. قال: إني أجد في بدني ضعفا. فقلت له: أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال: يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال: يا أماه إني أشم عندك